Don't think you need a home watch service provider? Think again. Hiring a home watch service provider can actually save you hundreds, if not thousands of dollars. And today, I want to discuss with you 7 bullet points that I've been able to help my customers save hundreds, if not thousands of dollars in protecting their home. Hello, my name is Bill Wright, and welcome to the Snowbird Advisor. I've been involved with and providing home watch services in Southwest Florida for over 12 years. And in fact, I have provided nearly 13,000 service calls personally to my customers. And as the president of the Florida Home Watch Association, I have trained hundreds of other people and actually consulted on many of their service calls to help them provide a good quality service as well. These experiences uniquely qualify me to help you understand that home watch service can be a beneficial service and actually save you money doing so. Many people feel it's just an expense like insurance, and unless you have something catastrophic happen, it's of no real value. And I'm going to show you, and dare I say, prove to you today, that's a fallacy. I found that there are a lot of people, thousands maybe, that actually, when they get ready to go north or go to their summer home from here in Florida, they walk through the house, they make sure that the windows are shut and the doors are locked and the lights are off and the toilets aren't running, and they close the doors between rooms, and they'll make sure that they turn the thermostat up maybe 5 degrees, but they're so focused on leaving and their trip, whether that's to the airport or the drive back to their summer home, that they really don't consider anything more than that. And they turn on the alarm if they have one, close the door, lock it, and leave. Many of those people are taking a huge risk, and they just simply don't have a home watch service provider. Maybe they don't even know that they exist. But they may not have had a problem last year or the previous year, but eventually there will be a problem that will be so costly it will make them question whether or not they want to continue with their lovely winters here in Florida. And it shouldn't be like that. So if you've ever thought, I don't need a home watch service provider, or I don't, or I can't afford a home watch service provider, this is a really good video for you to watch all the way through, because I'm going to show you not only do you need one, but many times they will save you more than the cost of the service. Have you ever heard the expression, a stitch in time saves nine? Well, I can't think of a better phrase that represents the heart of the home watch industry. If we can help prevent one small problem from becoming a huge problem, that's where you will save hundreds, if not thousands of dollars. So I appreciate the fact that you found this video and that you're watching it to this point. And I want you to stay tuned to the very end, because at the very end, I'm going to provide information on how you can receive or get a video that I did 4 years ago that's been very, very successful. And that's 12 things that you should ask a home watch service provider before you hire them. It will help you sort out who best would suit your home watch needs. Now let's get on to those 7 ways that I can show you how you can save money using a home watch service. And the first one is insurance. Now, the first thing I can tell you from personal experience, both being on one side of the fence and the other, I used to be an insurance agent decades ago. But I recently had a loss from a hurricane. And I can tell you personally that nowadays, insurance companies really simply don't want to pay you. And I think everybody probably behind that lens is going, I understand that, Bill. I agree with you. I've heard horror stories. So most people don't know this, but if you let your homeowner's insurance know that this is going to be your vacation home, your winter home, or whatever it may be. There many times will be a clause in your insurance policy, almost all of them now, that says you need to provide, if you're going to be gone longer than 30 days, there are certain criteria that you have to meet. And one of those criteria is to have a professional provide service and watch the home on a systematic basis. Some insurance companies will allow you, or not allow you, but will give you a discount if you hire a professional home watch service provider. That used to be more of a thing 5 or 6, 10 years ago. Now it's more the shift is in the insurance industry is we're just going to make you have it. And if you don't have it, you may be like a customer that I picked up 5 or 6 years ago. We'll call her Joanne, and she had her neighbor watching her, and she had for years, for almost a decade, she had people watching her home that are neighbors right next door. She had a townhouse, they were connected. But this one year, the air conditioner stopped working, and they were going in to the townhouse every morning, that once or twice a week or once or twice a month or whatever the frequency was. And they just didn't have the tools. It was all boarded up, they had not boarded up. They had shutters, and it was dark, prepared for a winter storm. And so, I mean, a summer storm, not a winter storm, but prepared for a storm. And so she didn't get a notice from them. They didn't see it. They never picked up on the fact that the air conditioner didn't work. And when she came back in October, she found mold and mildew everywhere. And so she had somebody out to give her an estimate on the cleanup, and not the repair of the air conditioner. That was separate. Just the cleanup of the mold and mildew, and it was $30,000 for a 2-bedroom, 2-bath townhouse. Small too. It wasn't huge. Um, and so she filed a claim with her insurance company. And the first thing that they asked was, "Do you have somebody watching the home?" "Yes, my neighbors." "Are they qualified home watch people? And are they insured? Is it a business? Where are the reports? What kind of tools did they use?" And she couldn't answer any of those because there wasn't any answer to them. It was just simply, my friends walked in and they didn't see it. The insurance company said, "Well, since you didn't follow this clause and have somebody professionally watching the home, we're not going to pay your claim. We're not going to pay a nickel." And so she ended up paying the $30,000 out of her savings. She's on a fixed income or retired, so those folks out there know exactly what I'm talking about, how difficult that was. But not only that, she couldn't be in her townhouse for several months because of the mitigating reasons. You can't be in there with mold, and they were cleaning it up. So she had to rent somebody else's condo for a couple of months. And that's a couple of $1,000s each month for sure. And so her loss was far over the 30,000, and all because she didn't have a professional company. Well, of course, then she hired me, and from that point forward, going forward, it was so much better for her, and she was protected. We used the tools, and we had the experience and the reporting and all the things that the insurance company asked for. So when it comes to insurance, pull out your insurance policy right now, or call your insurance agent and ask them, "What if I'm not there and something happens like what happened to Joanne? Am I covered unless I have a home watch service provider?" And I probably would think that 90% of you are not covered, and your insurance company will not pay your claim. I promise you that. Now, the second one of these items is monitoring appliances and mechanical equipment. And that would, be things like refrigerators and freezers and air conditioners and things of that nature inside the home. These are things that each time a home watch service provider enters your home, they're going to check these things. If you leave your refrigerator on and your freezer on, they're going to make sure that they're cooling and that they're freezing. And if there's been a problem with that, or they're not doing that, at least they can mitigate an issue with, like, say, the refrigerator and the contents of it, or a freezer, and clear out the refrigerator if you've left things that would spoil. If things like that are left too long in a refrigerator, that refrigerator is never going to be able to, you'll never be able to rid yourself of the smell of those things that spoiled inside that refrigerator, because it gets into the plastic. you might as well, I wouldn't say throw it away. You might move it to the garage because it's good, beer and soda refrigerator, but you'll have to buy a new one for the inside of your home. So how much does that cost? Or like for instance, an HVAC system, is it running efficiently and effectively? If it doesn't run efficiently and effectively, you're going to have high humidity within the home. High humidity inside your home over a long period of time is a recipe for disaster. You will be back in that situation where I just spoke of with Joanne. So these are important things. And not only do you just go in and make sure that the air conditioner is running and you hear it, but you actually test it with different tools. Or if it's not running, you turn it down so that it will run, and then you put it back to the setting that you had at it. I have a story I want to tell you about a range. Now, you wouldn't think home, vacant, range, what could go wrong? Uh, 2 years into my home watch business, I walked into a home that uh, was really hot. I mean, it wasn't normally hot because of the settings on the thermostat, but this was really hot and very dry. I could feel that as I opened the front door. And there was a beeping coming from the kitchen. So I walked into the kitchen, and here the range was glowing red. Think of the reddest that you could imagine a range would be, and that's what it was. And the racks had started to bend a little bit. And on the handle, the homeowner had two towels, and they were scorched black, ready to go up in flames. So I ran to the service box, the electrical box, and I tripped the circuit breaker. I pulled the range out, and I pulled the plug from the wall. And what we found or discovered on that was the fact that during the day that day, an electrical strike had hit near the house, but not hit the house, and went back through the system. And the older electrical box didn't trip the circuit breaker, and it turned, excuse me, it turned the range on in self-cleaning mode and overrode and burnt out the override itself, so it couldn't shut off. And thankfully, that wasn't the scheduled day for that home. It was the next day. But my wife and I were going to dinner in south of our town, and I thought, let's get one out of the way for tomorrow and save myself some time. My sheet just fell, and save myself some time tomorrow. And so I fortuitously ended up at that house the day the storm had hit and was able to mitigate that issue. But these are little things that can pop up that can cost you so much. And maybe in this case, it could have cost them their home. So the third way that a home watch service provider can save you money is departure mistakes. Departure mistakes like, for instance, leaving the water main on when you leave. And things like maybe a toilet flap would fail, and so the toilet would run a lot, or maybe the toilet fill valve float stuck, and it's now allowing water to build up higher than the weep hole on the handle, and now all of a sudden you have water coming out the tank onto the floor and finding its way throughout the bathroom and into the bedroom. I actually had that happen one time. And by the time that, because of the service frequency and the time frame that they left and when they notified me, we actually got there and the bathroom was not destroyed, but it had to be completely gutted and remodeled. How much did that cost? And all because they had forgotten to turn the water off. So those are that's one example, but there are other things like forgetting to turn the thermostat settings to the proper setting. Or sometimes people will make a mistake and they'll say, well, air moving all the time means that I'm not going to have humidity because that air is moving. And so I'm going to turn the fan setting on the thermostat to on and take it off of auto. Well, that's wrong, because what happens is you never allow the system to shut down, and you're sucking through the system air that isn't being cooled and dried by the system, and then it builds inside the ducting within the system, and you actually create higher humidity. And believe it or not, within 2 days, the humidity inside your home could be as high as 80%. and we want to keep it somewhere under 60, if not 55%. That's the sort of the figure that I always shoot for. And so extended periods of time with high humidity inside your home will produce or begin to produce mold and mildew. Mildew first, then mold. And it doesn't take, in Google it, doesn't take but 24 to 48 hours for mildew to begin or mold to begin, especially in moist situations where you're not having humidity removed as it's cooling properly. And so that's a real concern, because even if you're having that person come in a week after you leave or 10 days after you leave, let alone any other extended period of frequency, you're going to have issues. There's no doubt about it. And so that's one of the ways that we as home watch service providers can save you hundreds, if not thousands of dollars in cleanup. Point number 4, roof leaks, plumbing leaks, and water intrusion. Now, you wouldn't think that that's a common problem, but it can be. I literally had a homeowner that replaced their tile roof on their home. Cost them $35,000, $40,000. They did that in June because they wanted to be ready for the season, the hurricane season, and they would have no worries. And in July, I found water stains on the ceiling. They had installed it improperly. So those things can happen. And I go back to, and I would say too, there are some people who new home, I don't need home watch service provider. There shouldn't be anything go wrong with it, right? I mean, brand new windows, brand new roof, it's got brand new, insulation, everything fits tight. What could be the concern? Well, thinking that way, then you should uh, not need a builder's warranty, but they provide one. That's one point I'd like to make. And to be honest with you, there are some builders here in Florida, and all you need to do is pick up a newspaper or go online, that are poor builders, and they have poor quality builds and and quality issues galore. So those are other things that you should be considering, even if you have a new home, is my point. And so there's also water intrusion that could happen. And what do I mean by that? I had a home where they they were coming home in a month or so, and they decided they would have the lanai pressure washed so that it's clean and free of spiders and whatever. And the pressure washing company they hired sprayed a little too hard on the sliding glass doors, which they were a bit older, and the water from that just came in 2-3 feet into the home. And I provided the final service call before the homeowner was coming, about 10 days later. And I found all of this, and of course I cleaned it all up for them. But had I not been providing that service and had that set for 10, 14 days, that there is no way that, regardless of how efficient the air conditioner was, it would remove that volume of water over a 10-day period. Maybe a dehumidifier would have, but I don't even think it sitting right next to it could have. And so that would be mold and mildew for certain when they got there, in the living room area, and maybe possibly into the rest of the home. So that's what I mean by plumbing, roof problems, water intrusion, things of that nature. The other one would be like a stuck HVAC condensate drain float. So basically, what can happen there is, let's say that almost every system now has a float that when the drain tube for the condensation from the air conditioner air handler system should be sent outside, and it drips outside, and it's called an evac tube or a condensate tube. And if that starts to plug up with mucus and stuff from the year, it will back up, and there should be a switch that would shut the air conditioning system from running. Most of the time they're very efficient and effective, but there are some times where they stick, and they stick in the down position, so the water just comes up past it. It doesn't shut the system off, and then the water spills out into the HVAC closet or area, and if that's inside your house, eventually it makes its way into the rest of the house. And again, we have standing water. Again, depending upon when it's mitigated, you can have mold and mildew begin with that kind of a situation as well. So roof plumbing, leaks, and water intrusion are a thing. And just a simple cleanup is a couple $100. Just to have a water mitigation company come in, it'd be $1,000 before they even turn on their truck to come to your house. And if you, there again, going back to the insurance, if you don't have a home watch service provider um, that is qualified and has the tools, your insurance company, if you wanted to maybe place that as a claim, could say, sorry, not paying it. So this is the fourth way that you can save money. Now, number 5 has to do with discovering neglect from other service providers. So, for instance, as an example, you could have a lawn care company that is mowing the lawn and taking care of everything, but there are dry, patchy periods where we wouldn't get rain even here in Florida in the summertime. And if your irrigation system isn't set up properly, or if the head's broken, and in the interim when it's supposed to run it doesn't, you're going to have brown spots in your yard. Or you could have browning or dead plants. And what does that cost you if somebody doesn't pick up on that quickly and say, hey, look, we've got to get the irrigation system looked at. Your lawn goes brown here in Florida. To get a new lawn, it can be anywhere from $5,000 to $15,000. Plants, whatever they cost, and the cost of either you planting them or someone else planting them. And then you have also the person who is that has a pool company, let's say, for instance, and the pool company isn't keeping the pool level where it should be, and maybe when I come, it's cavitating, it's sucking a little air and then getting a little water, and then you see the pump is sucking a little air and then getting water, and when it doesn't have water, it sort of makes a whining sound. Well, that's the impeller beginning to break down. That's dry, and it can't. The water's supposed to lubricate it. And if you want to replace a pump motor on your pool, that's $1,000 just for the pump, let alone the man hour or two that it takes to put that new pump in. So those are some of the ones that come to mind right away as far as other service providers. Number 6 is pre-storm preparation and post-storm reporting or mitigation. And so a lot of folks will have an intention of coming down maybe midsummer for a week or two, or maybe family members will be coming down. And so they tend to leave items out on the lanai and sort of keep the house ready for company, so to speak. And that's fine, but you need to have somebody that's willing or able to put those items away should a storm be coming. And that's another service that some home watch service providers will give you. And it's important because not only if a storm like a hurricane were to come, specifically speaking of Florida, if that is blown around on the lanai, just the lanai alone, it could damage the furniture. It could damage the screen or anything else that's in that area. It could end up in the pool. And God forbid that it blows out from your pool area and damages your neighbor's pool cage or home. And so you need to have somebody put that away for you and bring it back out after the storm. And so that can save you. You already know that you might have to put it in or out, so you sort of assume that cost. But the savings in the lost furniture and the damage to the pool screen or the pool cover cage, I should say, it can be a lot of money. And so that's one way. And the other thing is preparation for, some people have hurricane shutters, whether they need to be electronically just brought down or manually closed, or maybe some places have shutters that have to go up, the galvanized type. And if you know what I'm talking about, if you're in Florida, you know what kind of shutters I'm talking about. Some services will provide that. Some will meet the service provider that you've hired to do that, to allow them access to the garage, and then also confirm using photos that they were put on, getting back to the insurance company. Your insurance company gives you discounts here in Florida especially for having those kinds of things. And if you aren't using them in a storm situation, and windows get blown out or damage is incurred because the windows aren't covered, not going to get paid. Your insurance company is going to say no. And so that's another way that a home watch service provider can save you money. Not only can they, sort of assist in getting them up, but also confirm with photos and documentation that they're up for the storm. Now, after the storm, they should be making their way back to your home as quickly as possible to mitigate any possible damage and to make sure that if there is damage, they get somebody there to repair it or at least close the home in. Or if there isn't, at least confirm to you that there wasn't any damage. To give you, going back to the prudent person, kind of scenario with insurance companies, they're going to expect for you, if there was damage to your home, to have somebody on property within a short period of time to first discover and then mitigate that issue. You can't have a broken window, and I don't care even if it's in the garage, for 3 months until you come back from the summer spread or summer period of time, and then fix that garage and then say, well, I've got drywall problems and this got wrecked and I've got mold over here, and then put in a claim. They're going to say that was a storm 2 months ago, and a prudent person would never allow that to exist in the home for that length of time. So you're not going to be covered. So these are ways that, again, a home lot service provider can save you hundreds, if not thousands of dollars. So now that we've covered the sixth one, we'll talk about the seventh one, and then I have a bonus for you. The seventh way that we can save you money as a home lot service provider to your home is a key holder service. And so you say, what's a key holder service? Well, there are times where you will need the home open for somebody. I just mentioned the hurricane, the company putting up hurricane shutters. If you have those, access has to be granted to the garage or given. And normally that's when a home lot service provider, if they're not putting up the shutters, at least will be there on premises to make sure that the shutters get out of the garage and the garage gets locked up, or wherever they may be. Normally it's the garage. And that way you can be rest assured in your mind that everything's out. They're starting to put the shutters up and the place is locked up and secure for the storm. That's one way. But that's a key holder service. But let's say you have furniture. Maybe you bought new furniture. Maybe you just bought the home and you're getting it furnished over the course of the summer. You need to have somebody that you can rely upon that will open the door when that company's coming to put in the furniture, or maybe when the pest control company's coming, or the HVAC company's coming, or the plumber, or whatever that circumstance is. The package got delivered, you need to put inside, you don't want it to be stolen. That's a key holder service. And how does that save you money? Well, what are the options? The option is, now remember, you've already paid the home lot service provider. You've got your agreement. They're set up, they're ready to go. If you need something like this, you're going to have to contact a neighbor. You're going to contact a friend. You're going to contact maybe a family member, and you're going to impose upon them to be there to help you out. And somewhere down the road, you're going to feel compelled, and rightfully so, to compensate them, whether that's a dinner out or whatever it may be, whatever your compensation plan is for friends, relatives, and neighbors. The key thing here is you're imposing upon them. You're expecting them or hoping that they will give you a hand or help you out. But they may not say it, but it can be an imposition. Whereas if you have a professional team of people or a professional company, that's the agreement you have with them. And so, yes, you have to pay them. But you're not imposing upon those other people that you have a relationship that's more than just business. And the other thing is, what is your option besides that? And that is to hop on a plane or drive your car down here and take care of it yourself. That's what your option is. And that's far more expensive than just paying a home watch service provider to drop by for an hour to make sure those things are done. So is that a savings? It can be, if you think about it that way. I'm a pretty proud person. I know a lot of proud people in my family who would never impose upon a family member or a friend. They would just pay, and that's fine. But keeping that in mind, key holder service is a valuable service to people that have a vacation home or a home that they're away from for several months at a time. So the bonus that I mentioned earlier in this segment is that I'll call it peace of mind. So there's no way for us to quantify, or put a dollar amount on the peace of mind that you get from having somebody that's responsible and should go in and be checking your home on a systematic, periodic basis. Um, that relieves the stress of you sitting somewhere not knowing what's going on, or relying possibly on a friend, relative, or neighbor who, quite frankly, may not know what they're looking for. As Joanne earlier, that lady I mentioned. So it's one of those things where peace of mind can't that peace of mind you get and the stress that it relieves probably equates to less medical conditions or a lower medical condition, hypertension, whatever it might be. And I can't prove that, but I believe it, and it makes sense. And so that's a bonus that it isn't a dollar and cents kind of a thing, but it certainly is a way that you can save on stress by hiring a home watch service provider, a good qualified home watch service provider, and you will rest easy, sleep fine, knowing that your home has somebody watching after it. Now, my closing thoughts on this is, I hope that these items have been valuable to you and maybe given you a different way to look at home watch services. And I hope that you, if you haven't had a home watch service in the past, will at least explore that possibility, and maybe talk to a few home watch service providers and see what it is they do and how they do it and how much it will really be for you to have your home protected. So that being said, one thing that I'll tell you that I know for a fact is, when I first got started in the home watch business back in 2012, my biggest fear as a business owner wasn't that it would fail or that I wouldn't be successful. I knew that every business I've ever started has been successful. But my fear was I would take money from the homeowner and the value of my service wouldn't be near what I wanted to be in the course of a year. And I promised myself at the end of that year, if I couldn't statistically prove that it was actually a benefit to my homeowners, I was just not going to do it the following year. And so at the end of that year, I sat down and I reviewed all of the home watch service reports. And I looked at the ones that I needed to, that as far as services needed to be mitigated right away, immediately, because it would cause damage, further damage and more cost. And of the homes that I had, over 80% of them fell into that category, where at least once during the year we had a major issue or a mitigation issue, maybe not a major. In my mind, a major is a blown roof. AC that's not working, it's not quite that same level. But the idea is that we had issues that needed to be taken care of right away. And so that being said, it was a success and it was something that was valuable. And so I continued, and thankfully I did, because the second year I saved a home from going up in flames. So that's a pretty good testament to why home watch service providers are necessary. And if you've been going without one, I think that you should probably rethink it. And I hope you do. So when I first got started, I mentioned a video that I did 4 years ago that I think would be helpful for anyone who is thinking of getting a home watch service provider or maybe changing home watch service providers. And that is the 12 questions to ask a home watch service prior to hiring them video. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pin I'm going to have a link in the pinned comment below this video, where you can just click on the link and it'll go to my other channel, which is the Home Watch Advisor, not the Snowbird Advisor, but the Home Watch Advisor, where I actually have videos there for the home watch professional and helping them become a better quality home watch service provider. But anyhow, that video I did way back when, and I thought that channel would be both, and it just isn't going to work that way. So I started this channel to help you. So if you found this information valuable, please like it and share it with somebody that you think might find it valuable as well. I suggest that you subscribe, and the reason you would do that is because I'm going to continue to put out information and videos that will help the homeowner get the most out of their home watch services. Next week's video is going to contain information on things that you can do before you leave, things that you can ask your service provider to do to provide and give you the highest quality service that you deserve in your home. And it's really not difficult or more time consuming for them. So everybody wins. Until next time, thanks for watching.